Generation 5 of My Little Pony is fully underway. I think that much is clear. Chapter 4 of Make Your Mark is very much upon us, and I'd imagine some might consider this a good time to check out the generation if they haven't before. But obviously, this might be a bit tricky, as Generation 5 is split up into multiple forms of media and shows. As such, if you're trying to get into the generation or are trying to convince a friend to give it a shot, you might need a little help figuring out how to navigate everything. Worry not, for I'm here to present a complete viewing and reading guide for My Little Pony's 5th generation. This will be your guide on what order you should watch or read content in the series in order to get things in as cohesive a canon timeline as possible. This will hopefully enable you to have a proper timeline of how to watch and read Generation 5 up to the release of Chapter 4 of Make Your Mark, so you can dive right into it after you're done with everything else. Note that there will be a few spoilers throughout this video, so as to better explain why episodes are placed where they are in the canon timeline. Enjoy! The obvious point in the timeline is the beginning. All interested in Generation 5 should naturally begin with the movie A New Generation. There really is no need to elaborate. The movie is where everything gets started and the main characters meet each other. All the main characters barring Misty, anyway. The film is the obvious and definitive way to begin the generation. After this, Generation 5 splits up into 3 areas: the Netflix series Make Your Mark, the YouTube series Tell Your Tale, and the IDW comics. To get started after the movie, you'll want to begin with the first 10 episodes of Tell Your Tale. There are various events within these episodes that clearly take place before the first special of Make Your Mark, such as the cast all moving into Maritime Bay, Pip opening main medley, or the introduction of characters like Jazz. It is crucial that you do not go past this spot, as Tell Your Tale episode 11 takes place after the Make Your Mark special. With the first 10 Tell Your Tale episodes done, you are clear to watch Chapter 1 to Make Your Mark. This is the 45-minute special, and the first use of 3D animation for G5 after the movie, of course. After this, it's back to Tell Your Tale for another 18 episodes. You are free to go on episodes 11 through 28 of the Tell Your Tale web series. Once again, be certain not to go past this point, as the next episode introduces features brought onto the scene by Chapter 2 of Make Your Mark, namely the new characters, especially Misty Brightthorn. Before you go into Make Your Mark Chapter 2 though, this is likely a good time to take a pit stop into the IDW comics. While not outright required reading for Generation 5, the comics are consistently quite impressive, and I highly recommend reading them for further enjoyment of the generation and its characters. Issues 1 through 10 deal with a major arc that seems to take place before the more recent emergence of Opaline and Misty onto the scene, so I would suggest reading these 10 issues now. You are also free to read them at any point after Make Your Mark Chapter 1. This is merely the latest point I would suggest reading these issues. With these done, it's time to go back to Make Your Mark for Chapter 2 of the Netflix series. All 8 episodes are obviously watched in order. The opinions on these episodes naturally might vary in quality amongst the fanbase, but personally I would recommend watching all 8 of them. Episode 3 in particular is very well received, so look forward to that. With that done, we naturally return to Tell Your Tale. The gap is not nearly as wide as it was last time though. This time you can enjoy episodes 29 through 37. This shouldn't take long, and characters like Opaline and Misty debut and Tell Your Tale here. While not mandatory, the general consensus is that episode 32 of Tell Your Tale is one of the weakest episodes in the series. If you aren't an absolute completionist, it's probably alright to skip this one. And with that handled, it's back to Make Your Mark for a holiday detour. Chapter 3 of Make Your Mark is here, the Winter Wish Day special. There is some debate on if this includes a minor continuity hiccup here that clashes with Tell Your Tale, but ultimately it is not enough to convince me they are different canons, especially with Tell Your Tale's episodes sometimes tying into Make Your Mark and supporting material. And from there, it's IDW and Tell Your Tale all the way to Chapter 4's upcoming release. Episodes 38 through 53 of Tell Your Tale are free game by this point, and IDW issues 11 and 12 are also recommended. Avoid watching Tell Your Tale episode 46 at all costs, because it is terrible. IDW issue 13 is also releasing the same day as Make Your Mark Chapter 4. If you are reading the comics, I would recommend reading it before watching Chapter 4. And from there, it's all clear to watch Make Your Mark Chapter 4. From here, the best way to keep up, of course, is to watch new content as it releases. Given the short nature of Tell Your Tale episodes and the fact that the comics only release once a month, this shouldn't be difficult. And that's everything. Hopefully this helps you or anybody you want to bring onto the series out as an easy way to get into the series of Hasbro's newest ponies. Thank you very much for watching, and enjoy My Little Pony Generation 5.